Hey everyone, what's up? Kozuro here, and today I welcome you to this new video in which I will be showing to you and explaining my process on making a speed paint or a fan art of Hutao from Genshin Impact. But before I dive into the process, please remember to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. So the first step I do every time, no matter what type of process I choose to go for, is the draft. And in this step, I'd say the most important thing is to find a composition you like, a composition that is dynamic if that's what you're going for, and trying really to put your character, like highlight your character and also the different elements that you are going to put in your drawing. Also, previously I said that no matter what type of process I'm going for, and this is because there's really no one single process to go through digital painting. Like for example, on this drawing I literally went for a completely different process from what I'm used to, because I'm currently studying matches art. And by the way, there will be a new video which is taking a lot of time on this specific study. But let's get back to my process for now. And what I would usually do after the rough is the line art. But since I decided to go for a new type of process, what I'm doing here is putting flat colors under my rough. Here I really focus on getting the colors for my character, which is Hutao, right. And next I paint the background, trying to really make it fit the mood that I want my drawing to have, which is kind of a Halloween mood at night with the moon behind Hutao to really highlight her face. Oh my god, shut up! Ah, the switch, bro. Anyways, now I'm painting rough shadows on a multiply layer and also adding highlights on another layer. And here I'm really trying to make my light scenario kinda coherent, and also making my colors vibrate, have a lot of different hues in them, I would say. Now that I've done the rough colors and shading, I am now moving on to rendering. And with this new process, I do something that I really am not used to, is I just add a new layer on top of everything and paint over all my layers underneath. I noticed after finishing this drawing that this process is very good for hair, because you can add or remove as much hair as you want and don't have to worry about the line art like being in your way and you have to erase it and everything. Is kind of complicated if you made the line art already. And you can have very dynamic hair and effects, because adding layers over layers just makes it so that you have more freedom in your painting. But, and this is a big but, is that having no line art can be very annoying, because you have to make every single shape you draw very precise, because otherwise your drawing is just going to look very like rough and shit. But another thing I like with this rendering process is that it makes your drawing look very painterly, since you don't have a line art, you just have your rough underneath. However, there is another very annoying problem that I will encounter later in the painting, and I will tell you when and explain why it can be annoying. Right now you can see I've finished rendering the hair, and so I'm moving on to the clothes, trying to pay attention to the materials. The more shiny they are, the more reflected light there will be, and so the more contrast in the light and shadow there will be on this surface, and the more matte they are, the smoother the shadows and the less will be the contrast. That was not English. What I meant to say is that there will be less contrast between your lights and shadows, or at least it will be smoother. Problem is with this drawing that I was very lazy, because I was kind of in a rush, and you know, school started again in September, and that's also why I it took me a lot of time to post this video. But yeah, I was lazy and didn't want to spend too much time on this drawing, and so I kinda got bored at some point and didn't want to render everything properly. And as artists, we have to admit that sometimes, some days of the year, you don't want to draw and you can just make a bad drawing. It happens even to the best. Okay, maybe not Kim Jong-il, but you know that most artists, even on Instagram like Sam Does Art and stuff, don't post every drawing because sometimes they have bad ones. But I still kept going anyways because I also wanted to post this drawing for the contest of MiHoYo, in which I often participate, and I wanted to finish it even though it was not perfect. Anyways, in the end there was parts that I liked drawing and others that I really didn't, but I learned a lot with this drawing, so I guess it was worth it. And at the moment you can see me moving on to the the little ghost and cleaning up and detailing a little bit more the fire, stylized fire. I really like making this type of kind of patterns. I often do these on my school books, you know, when I'm bored, and I was too lazy to make real fire, so I stylized it. And from now on you will see me trying again and again and again the little face of that boy, because I wasn't able to make it fit in the drawing. It either looked too dark or too saturated or too dim, I don't know. I couldn't find the right thing and it took me a lot of time. I was kind of annoyed at this poor little guy. But yeah, I think in the end I did a pretty good job at integrating this little dude's face. What do you think? Whoa, what the hell is happening right now? Cut that alarm off. There you go. Yeah, I know, it's just that I was lazy once again and I just painted over a staff of Homa PNG because I didn't want to copy the whole thing, but apparently it's a crime in the art community. But you know what, I don't fucking care. Sorry for that. But I'll be soon moving on to the patterns of Hutao's coat, and it can be very tricky with HoYo versus characters because they have so much detail in their design, which is really what makes them beautiful. But yeah, to make fan art, it's sometimes very annoying. And now it's just about finishing the codes. I'm adding a little bit of atmospheric perspective here. No, removing it, never mind. And then I will just add some particles. I mean, a lot of particles. And I will just have them to paint the background, add a camera roll filter, and we will be done. Now when I add particles, you can right at the start see me committing a sin in art, which is hiding the hand behind a particle. I was really so freaking lazy. I didn't want to do the hand at the end of this long drawing. I think it took me around 15 hours. It's not that long. I've made some worse drawing, but you know, when you've spent 15 hours on a drawing you don't even really like that much, you don't want to draw a shitty hand at the end. And so now moving on to the background, and here's the issue I talked to you about in the very beginning of the video, is that since I painted over my rough and my background layer, all this time I've been painting over it all this time, I now have to make another layer which will be my background layer, and so I have to separate very distinctly my character from the background, and it can be a bit annoying. Here it has passed in like a matter of seconds, but it took me probably about 20 to 30 minutes and it was really tedious and annoying. So that's one of the downsides of this this rendering process, I would say. Now adding final effects, a camera raw filter to fix the contrast, maybe add a little bit of colors, and yeah, we'll be done.